Hi guys, I'm so excited today. The insanity is spreading. At the suggestion of Sadie from Sadie's Spincraft, we are going to do a yeet for dyeing instead of a yeet for yarn. So I got myself this lovely set of Dungeons and Dragons dice in my favorite colors so that we can expand our repertoire on dice rolling. So for this one, I've got a D20. Trying to make it focus on the D20. There it is. D20 and a D4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll for how many dies we're going to use, and then we're going to roll the 20 for which dies to use. Now, to go with this, I have some gray Shetland. And you know how I love over dyeing grays and browns. So I really shouldn't stand in front of this window because it really changes the light depending on how I move. Ooh. So I'm going to measure out 100 grams of this. I got this from Camouflage Fiber Arts. So I'm going to measure out 100 grams of this. We're going to pop it in a pan and get it wet. And then we're going to roll for what dyes we're going to be using on this. Hold on, I'll be right back. Here's our scale. Just needed a basket. And we will zero that out and start adding our gray Shetland. This smells good. All right, so we're at about 104 grams, but because of the way it's hanging, we've probably got extra weight on there. So I'm going to split it right about there. We ended up at 102 grams. Close enough for this chick. So we will shut off our scale. We're going to take our Shetland, and I'm going to go this way because I want to get different colors, assuming we get a bunch of different colors. I want to get all the colors on all the roving. Oh yeah, I'm using my smaller pans. I may have to go down to 50 grams. Okay, I'm going to take this and split it in half. It's not going to be an exact measurement, but it's going to be close enough to 50 grams for me. All right, there, I just folded it in half and then I'll split it in the middle. And now I have 2 batches of 50 grams. Now, go back to what I was doing. I'm gonna go top to bottom so that we're getting all the colors on all the roving. And I have some heated water on the stove. Get that started soaking that up. Just press that down into it. Oh, that smells delicious. I don't know, I love the smell of wool, honestly. It's craziness, I know, but I do love the smell of wool. All right, let's give it a little bit more water. There we go. Just want enough in the pan to kind of have the roving covered and all wet. All right, that's our roving prepped. So I'm going to move that aside. And we're going to take our D4 dice and we're going to roll and see how many colors we get. 3. Ha ha. 3 colors. So let's see. Color number 1, 14. So let's go get that one and then we'll come back. Hold tight. So here are our dies. We would start top left, go down to there, and across to here. So 14, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So this one. So we will take this over here and we'll prop it down. We're going to roll for our second one. And it's going to be, it's 14 again. So this time we got 18. So we're going to go over here. This time we're going to count backwards because it's easier. So 20, 19, 18. Ruby red. And we needed 3 of these. So one more. I'm going to have to get a rolling tower. And 20. So we go over here. And we will grab number 20. Which is amethyst purple. Wow, this palette is going to be really interesting because we got blue, red, and purple. You saw me style it, dial it, roll it. I did not plan this. It's just what happened. So let's get started on the dyeing part. 1 second. Now, because we're dyeing on gray, the colors are going to be subtler. All right? But I also want them to be strong. So I am going to dig out my 1 gram teaspoon, measuring spoon. And I'm going to bring out my sky blue. You should be wearing a mask when doing this. I'm not, because you can't hear me speak properly if I'm wearing a mask, but whatever. Because I want it to be very strong, I'm going to use this full thing of dye. That's a lot of dye, guys. Trust me, it's a lot. I'm gonna grab my boiled water. And there we go. About that much water. I'm being very scientific with this process. And mix it up. Okay, that's the blue. Then I'm going to take my ruby red. And yes, I am mixing manufacturers and everything. Woo! Look at me, I'm a wild man, woman, person. Crazy, I'm crazy. I'm going to take the ruby red. And I'm going to use about the same amount. Actually, in order to get red, you have to use quite a bit. I might do 1.5. Because red really tends to lean towards pink when you mix it. Add my hot water. And then I'm going to mix that up. Probably can't see anything of what I'm doing here. All right, there's a red, there's our blue, and then our third color is our amethyst purple, but I have a plan for that. Let me grab my citric acid. So we're gonna add some to there, a little bit more. I just sprinkle some on top here. All right. I'm gonna mix that all up and mix in that citric acid. All right, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pour the blue on this side. Citric acid apparently didn't all dissolve. And I'm going to pour the red on this side. I didn't get my dyes quite mixed up right, see? See how concerned I am about that. Now, I'm going to just push this down. Then I'm going to grab my amethyst purple. And just going to tap it over the top. And we're going to see what happens. The purple may just end up blending completely in with the blue and the red, making it all some kind of tonal purple mess, but you know, whatever. This is Yeet for Dye. We never know what's going to happen. All right, I'm just going to sloosh this around and then just kind of tap it into the corner here. Trying not to disturb the purple on the surface. But there is some citric acid in these that I'm just kind of trying to add to the pot. All right. Not going to touch it now. You know, this is the hardest part for me is don't touch it. Don't futz with it. Leave it be. All right, oops. Well, that'll be interesting. Now, I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it on my stove. This is why I use these nice flat pans, metal pans. I'm going to pop it on my stove and warm it that way with just a low heat and make sure it doesn't boil, or maybe I'll toss it in the oven. Let's toss it in the oven. So I'm turning the oven on at 350. I grabbed some tin foil. I always just reuse my tin foil because it's, you know, expensive. And I'm not really getting it dirty doing this. It's just to be a heat cover. So to me, I can reuse it till it actually falls apart. All right, got it all covered up. So once the oven is warmed up to 350, I'm going to toss it in there for 20 minutes. And we'll see how it's doing. Although, just for curiosity's sake, yeah, there's still a lot of dye in there. As I'm touching the pan, I'm realizing my water probably cooled more than I expected it to. So it definitely needs a steam bath. So I'm going to crank up the temperature to 400. Okay, there we go. Cranked it up to 400. I'm going to pop it in there for 15 minutes, check it. If it needs longer, I'll put it in for longer. And we will see what we end up with on this very first episode of Yeet for Dye. See you in a bit, guys. All right, so the roving is dry. Don't mind me, I am not. I was out snow blowing, and with the wind, I got as much snow on me as I got on the snowbank. But thankfully it's warm, so it wasn't that bad. So results. In the end, the red did bleed a bit. It finally exhausted, but it did bleed a bit. So it took 2 washes in Pert Plus to get the rest of that left over. I'm just shaking up the braid a little bit here before I show you. It turned out so amazingly gorgeous, guys. It's exactly what I wanted. Look at this. Now remember, this was overdyed on gray with red and blue, and then I just sprinkled some purple on top. So you can really see on the blue how that purple, look at where the purple and the red blended. We got this gorgeous black. Black. I don't know how, but we did. And then on the blue, it leaned into the purple, which is gorgeous. Now remember, this was gray fiber. Look at the depth of colors you get. Now, there, I think, are 2 little gray spots out of that whole braid. And considering I didn't move it once it was in the water, I think that's absolutely brilliant. And look at it. The red came out pretty red. Like, that's not, you know how red usually leans towards pink? And on the camera, it is showing up a little more pink than it is in real life. These are really deep, saturated colors, just the way I love them. Now, look at, there's the other spot where it got a little gray. But overall, this is so beautiful. Now, these little flecks in here, there's a no-stick lining on the pan I was using, and apparently it has started to peel, and it got into the braid, so I'm just kind of picking it out. So, I mean, I picked it up for like $2 or something, so it's not a loss. I'll just throw it out so it doesn't contaminate any more wool. So I'm just going to braid this up. This is so gorgeous, guys. I can't even tell you how happy I am with how this turned out. So I have to say that our inaugural episode of Yeet For Dye turned out pretty brilliant. I mean, look at those colors. I'm so happy with it. I'm going to have to spin it up. It's just so pretty. Look at those colors. I'm just losing my mind because I had a vision and it came to be. This was what I imagined, except for the black. I did not expect that black. I expected it to be more purple, but I'm not mad about it. I mean, look at, I don't know how those colors made black, but they did. I'm so excited about it, especially since a true black is really hard to make, but that is a true black in there. Like, it's craziness. Look at true black. I think I'm really going to like Yeet For Dye too. So thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll be doing more of this in the future for absolute sure. I could probably make the whole channel Yeet For Dye and Yeet For Yarn and we could have a grand time. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me and I'll see you in the next one.